Burnout for neurodivergent people is your nervous system collapsing. It is being both mentally and physically sick. For autistic, ADHD, or ADHD moms, we have to heal in a slightly different way. We can't just lay in bed all day or for weeks at a time. We have kids and we have responsibilities, but it's still important to put yourself first and to heal. And it's going to take time. Hi there, Sarah here. In today's topic video, we're going to go over what burnout feels like so that you know if you're in burnout or not, and some steps that you can take, plus tools so that you don't get stuck in burnout again. I'm not a doctor. This is just based on my experience with burnout and the research that I've done. Here are some symptoms that you may be experiencing if you are indeed in burnout. Now, if you are, it lasts for months, and that is one of the first signs that will let you know that you are. Second, you are probably experiencing chronic fatigue. Every day, all day, no matter how much coffee you drink, even if you take your Adderall, you may be thinking things like, I really want to help with this thing, but I'm so tired. Or that sounds like a lot of fun to go to that social event, but what if I'm completely overwhelmed that day? Or I just really don't think that I'll be able to go. Another way to describe it is it can feel like you're hitting a brick wall. You can't go forward. You don't know what to do next. And you just feel like you're unable to do anything at all. Also, you may feel like you're not really able to be present. Things may be going on around you. You might not be able to almost feel or experience them or feel joy or have fun when things that normally felt that way don't anymore. Another big one is just having chronic pain and soreness, different places in your body. Even if you do stretching, even if you do exercise, if you do exercise, you probably feel a lot worse. Excessive panic attacks or meltdowns, more so than you usually experience. You may be on edge, or you might kind of just feel blah, not really feeling anything at all. You may have worse depression, sadness, your anxiety might be through the roof. And then physically also, you probably will get worse GI tract issues, stomach issues, skin issues may start popping up more so. And finally, another key is dysregulation, where you constantly feel like you are hurrying, that there's just not enough time in the day to get everything done. There is an incredible resource I have for this, which is a podcast by Jenna Free, which I'll leave in my video description below. Step one is to do less. I want you to imagine if you are walking down this path and there's all these rocks and you have to climb over them. They're really big and sometimes you scrape yourself on them. There's these prickers and they're scraping you as well. And just to make things worse, there's spider webs that you keep catching on your face. But if you turned right onto this other path, you have a grassy path. It's sunny. It's a lot easier to walk down, but it's just a path that you're very unfamiliar with. Doing less can seem like something that's really unfamiliar, especially for us moms and parents. And we're almost forced into this busyness. It's very difficult to find rest and to be able to slow down or stop and do less. But this is one of the most integral parts of recovering from burnout and healing. So what you want to do is to cut out what physically and mentally taxes you the most. This will be very specific to you in your life, but some examples might be to cut out exercise and instead substitute it for time outside, maybe going for a light walk if you really still want to get some activity, but not taxing your body with exercise. Giving up probably a lot of time with friends, especially if that means staying out late. You want to prioritize sleep at this point. And think about who you spend time with that you feel like you have to mask the most. I think it's important to spend time with your friends, but I think it's also important to recognize if your friends are draining you because you feel like you have to stay masked. So for a while, you may have to stop hanging out with a lot of people. You can still stay in touch with them by phone, and you don't have to take this advice at all, but it was something that really helped me to kind of just lay low for a while so that I could let my mind recover as well as my physical body. Making dinner might be something else, or making food from scratch in general. You can do something like getting more takeout or cooking easier meals. cooking easier meals that are bigger so that they last longer. And you can even put some of them in the freezer for another day. And just cutting back on going out of the house in general, especially if you have small kids and you're like doing a million things to get them packed up to go. You're packing all their stuff, packing all your stuff, snacks. And on top of it, if your kids are neurodivergent, you're also doing a lot of executive functioning for them too, and repeating and explaining to them over and over. And that is quite a drain on your body and mind. The next step is to get help. This might come in the form of therapy, medication, or just getting more support from your family. Therapy might be needed to help you mentally get through a lot of the blocks that you may come in contact with while you're healing. You may find that you have a lot of negativity going on in your mind, and a lot of guilt and a lot of wrongful thoughts, and might need to find where they're rooted in so that you can heal mentally as well. Remember that recovery is not going to be linear. A couple other ideas, especially if you have kids, is asking your husband to maybe take over the evening routine for a while. This was something I did that helped me a lot. If you have any friends that you can rely on or family, you can ask them to watch your kids for a day or even part of a day, just so that you can rest and not have that mental load of watching them on you. A great resource for this is to read Laziness Does Not Exist. The next step has to do with, what do? You have more time, you're trying to rest, but you still need to do something with your brain, or your brain is just going to be going off. You need to give your brain some rest as well. I mentioned before, stretching, going outside, sitting and listening to the birds. You could try hobbies or things that you enjoy, but try them more gently, like coloring. Maybe if you enjoy cooking, some simple things. Writing and journaling will be super helpful, and we'll get to that a little bit more in a minute as well. Prioritizing more sleep at night, taking naps if you can, or at least resting, even just sitting down. This is something that can be very difficult. I mentioned before dysregulation and the need to just hurry around everywhere. And just being able to get yourself to sit down can be very, very hard. I remember that feeling, and I know that it's going to be hard for you. But once you start doing it, and once you start doing some of these other things, you will gradually find that you are able to rest and that you are able to concentrate on these other things that will help kind of your mind zen out and relax. The whole point of what you're doing for your mind is to kind of bring joy back into it as well. And so that's why it's nice to do some of these hobbies that are very gentle, but you also kind of have to maybe remember what joy feels like. I would encourage you as well to limit your screen time, limit your doom scrolling. Screen time or like video games can be really useful for helping your body to rest, for getting you to stay still. And it can help your mind as well. It can be very enjoyable to kind of let your mind relax and not have to think about things. But part of this healing process is to make your mind think about things that may have triggered part of this burnout. So you want to be sure to attend to these mental things that you need to heal, and being able to put in place tools for those mental things so that you don't get stuck in this position again. Now, if you can and you feel like you have the energy to do so, increasing your vitamins or taking vitamins in general that will absorb into your body is a really great way to kind of just help your physical body and your mental body heal. If you don't have the energy for this, that's fine. I understand you may want to do it a little bit later on. But sometimes we are nutrient deficient in things, and that'll make our recovery take a lot longer if we don't attend to them. The next step is to stay self-aware. You need to be sure along this process that you are checking in with yourself. You're giving yourself time to reflect and think, trying different things while you're in burnout to see what feels best, because you might not even know what things bring you joy anymore. You might have to try different things. Self-reflection is very powerful in this time so that you can identify the triggers that really drain your mental and physical body the most, the high energy demands that are in your life, and see which of those you can either completely get rid of for in the future or greatly reduce. These could be things like finding another job if you can, spending less late nights out with friends so that you can prioritize sleep in your everyday life, because those of us who are neurodivergent, we need more sleep. It could also be incorporating special interests into your everyday life. And some of these things are just going to be tools that you incorporate so that you don't get into burnout again. Okay, are you ready for my burnout toolkit? Bottom drawer, we have my microphone, because I never want to forget to make videos. I love doing that. Headphones, earbuds, so that we can listen to music as I need to. And of course, fidget toys, we don't forget to stim. On the next drawer, we have all my little watercolor supplies. Oh, I have many more than this, but this is just to remind me that I should take some time to watercolor because I love that hobby. And at the very top, I have flowers to remind me that I should go outside and look around and relax a little bit. And of course, my library card because reading just is so wonderful. All right. Another great thing to do is to do more research on neurodivergence to see what of these things resonate with you, what you need to sort out as far as in your life and in your mentality. When you start to feel some of your energy returning and you're not really quite sure what to do next, you may want to move on to the next step, which is setting up some very simple routines gently. Some ideas here would be to plan 2 days a week. You'll either maybe do some house cleaning on those days. You may try to get out to an appointment that you've been putting off. Another idea is to set yourself a reevaluation date, 4, 6, 8 weeks in the future, where you specifically go back and you reevaluate and see how you're doing and see how far you've come and see what you may want to do next or if you need to continue healing in this particular state. Another great resource is a book to read at this stage called The Upward Spiral. The next step is something I want to propose to you if you are recovering from burnout, or maybe you're not in as heavy of a burnout, or you're just in general kind of feeling overwhelmed. You can read more about this in Todd Herman's book called Alter Ego Effect. Essentially, you're pretending to come in and be somebody else. You're taking over your life as an alter ego, as another person. You are maybe hired to come in and help this poor woman who's having a breakdown to get caught up with life, to kind of help her get back on track. Some different ideas with this is you can kind of act like you're a superhero in a video game. You can get creative about how you can gain points or do tasks and get points for those tasks and level up. In some ways, you may consider this masking, but you are masking for a limited time and you're doing it for yourself. It's essentially helping your mind to detach from your personal life and the emotions and negative feelings that are going along with it. And a really good way to step into character is you have something that you do, like maybe you put on a certain necklace or pair of earrings, or you listen to a certain playlist, and that helps you step into this character that you're going to use for that day, for however long you want to decide to do it for. If I put in these earrings, I will be Superwoman. Oh, shit. There's so much more that I could say about burnout, and I could give you just a whole list of things that I tried and what I did for myself. But a lot of it is going to have to do specifically with you and your life and how it's set up. But the important thing is to put yourself first, to ask for help, and to put the time in to rest and heal both physically and mentally so that you don't have to go into burnout ever again. I remember what it felt like. I never want to go there again. It was awful. And I don't want anybody to have to go there either. So I hope that these are useful today. I love to hear about your story in the comments, or if you have any other suggestions for getting out of burnout. And please like this video if you found it helpful today. You can subscribe to my channel. I do videos for neurodivergent moms, neurodivergent parents, or just being a neurodivergent person in general. I wish you all the best. Thanks for watching. Bye.